Esther's Place, a creative fiber arts haven where farm and art collide. Let's go meet the animals. On our farm, we raise Cheviot sheep. We have about 20 sheep, and their wool provides just a bit of the supply that goes into the wonderful wooliness that we have here. Now, our Cheviot sheep grow their wool the entire year so that we can have this beautiful fiber to work with. In addition to Cheviot wool, which is wonderful for needle felting, we also source fibers and dye them from all kinds of other sheep as well. We try to source as much as we can from local farms and Midwestern farms, farms that we know how the sheep have been raised and where they're raised. Now, on our farm, we've also got a few other fun animals. This was Maud, the chicken, and we have ponies as well as farm cats. So it's always fun to see everyone interacting together. Every spring, the sheep shearer comes to give the sheep their haircut. The sheep has about 3 to 4 inches of wool that they've grown throughout the year, and they're excited to get that off of them and on to the next stage. Now, a sheep shearer is trained to very carefully maneuver the sheep so the wool comes off and neither the sheep shearer nor the sheep has any harm in the process. It takes about 3 minutes to shear a sheep, and it is an incredible process to watch. These sheep shearers have sheared thousands of sheep in their lifetime and are so talented at what they do. Now, when that wool is off of the sheep, about half of the weight is lanolin, an oil that the sheep produces that keeps them dry and warm. Now, after we get this wool harvested, we'll be sending it to a mill for processing and turning it into a usable product. So let's stay tuned and see that next step of the process. The mill will wash the wool in very hot water and then drain the wool and let it dry. It will take several days for the wool to dry, but here it's nice and clean and ready to go on to the next step. This mill was a century-old mill doing things the old-fashioned way. Their equipment is used to create soft, fluffy roving, which is what we're using for all of our fiber art projects. Here I'm dyeing the wool on the stove and blending the colors together. Sometimes the creative process uses a drum carder to blend the fibers into beautiful colors, and that is what this lovely tool is right here. So we're blending the fibers together into these beautiful shades. And then of course you can go on to spin the yarn and then knit, crochet, or weave the fiber into something wearable. But in our case, a lot of the fiber used in our process is actually going to go into felting. So let's stay tuned for the next step. Needle felting is a process of using a special barbed needle to tangle the fibers together as you poke the fibers, and it creates a piece of felt, but it also allows you to design and to create your own wonderful process here. This is a flat piece, but you can also do 3-dimensional pieces as well with needle felting. Now, wet felting, on the other hand, uses soap and water and typically a softer, finer type of wool. And here we're designing and fusing everything together at the same time. And you can create flat and three-dimensional things. So after designing, we're agitating and rolling to fuse the fibers together into a piece of fiber art. Artist in residence projects are a great joy in my process. I love coming into classrooms where we collaborate on creating beautiful art that is meant to hang on the wall and leave a legacy for the next generation. Kids enjoy the process of coming together and creating beautiful fiber art, and we've done projects of varying size, scope, and age groups across the Midwest. It is such a beautiful thing to make art together. So let's get creative. See what Esther's Place can inspire you to make.